All right, Stacy, you are live and ready to go.
All right, everybody. My name is Stacy Howell. I am the president of the Texas franchise of National Tenant Network, and we're going to be talking about our national NTN secure lease program, which is a tool that you can use if you're needing to screen potential renters. All right, it's a way to help you kind of increase your pool of folks. Our website is here. ntnonline.com. Pretty easy to remember. To get access to this, you basically just need to go through your office manager. If you don't have a login already, they'll send me an email and we'll set you up with an account. And that will send you a user ID and a temporary password so that you can get logged in and start using the system. You can screen people through our system automatically, but we're going to be going through the secure lease portion that helps you in MLS have people apply immediately. All right, so you'll get access again through your office by sending us an email. Once you're able to get in, you'll just, again, on the main homepage, you'll click on that customer login, put in your credentials, and log into the site. And the first thing that you're going to see is, of course, our home splash page. And this is a place where you can see a lot of alerts as to what's happening, if there's been any change in laws, anything you might need to know about that's going on with our system. And the other useful part is up here under resources. We sent out training guides. I know they linked those, but you can always go on our website to resources, training guides, and find all kinds of useful information, even guides that help you understand how to read the credit report itself. So you'll see what the credit report looks like, and it has these different sections next to it. And then up here is an explanation of each one of those sections. So there's lots of useful information up here inside the resources tab. There's even some forms and different things that we have, denial letters. You'll already get a denial letter if we recommend that, but if you need to kind of make a change to it, or you want your own denial letters or conditional acceptances, you can find all those under the resources tab as well. So just know that that's up there. All right, so back on the home page, really it's very easy to get to. Just remember on the right-hand side, right here is secure lease. If you had a paper document and you wanted to screen somebody, you could just go straight into the screening portion. But we're going into secure lease, since that's what our subject's about today. All right, so this is the secure lease homepage. Think about this as having to establish a property listing in our system in order to allow people to apply for that property. All right, so you have to have a property in our system. On the left-hand side, you'll see the different links. The only link that you need to worry about is this properties link. None of these other ones really matter to you. You want to click on properties. It takes a second for this page to load, especially if there's a lot of addresses in the system. So when you click on properties, you'll see a list of addresses that are already in the system and their corresponding units. So like a triplex, an individual home, a duplex, any new applications that have been filled for or that have been sent in for that property, and any apps that people have started but have not completed yet. It'll give you a number there. So the first thing that you want to do is add the property that you're putting up for rent, that you're listing. You want to put that in here. So in order to do that, you just simply come over here and click on Add Property. This brings up a very simple page. There's not a lot of blanks here, but you want to put in information that's going to help you identify that particular property. So these first two blanks, let's say your property was 123 Elm Street. So I'm just going to put in here Elm. Doesn't have to be anything elaborate, doesn't have to be anything extensive. This is going to help you identify that property in that long list of properties that shows up on the other page. So we're going to put 123 Elm Street. We're going to put San Antonio here and throw in a zip code. And this is something that's for our office, but we need to know what county that address is in. And you can pretty much see everything with an asterisk is a mandatory field. Put in a phone number, your contact email. And this is important to get this right, because this is where it's going to send the notification to you that somebody has applied for your property. Now, on your webpage, it wants to know who the leasing agent or property manager is. We've asked our corporate office to change this. They haven't done so yet. But when you click on this, the list isn't in alphabetical order. And there's a long list of agents in the JB Goodwin website. So on yours, you just want to click on that field, and then you want to just start typing in your name, and it'll show up. You don't have to like drag down through the list to try to find it, because you guys would be spending a long time trying to find your name. Just start typing it in and it pops up. So these three fields, or especially these two, are very important to do right, or you won't get the notification that somebody has applied for your property. Second field that's very important is here, the application fee. You have two ways of processing a report through our system. You can do self-service, which gets you your report back in about 60 seconds, or you can do what's called a full service. For JB Goodwin pricing, and this is important, use these numbers, to do a self-service where you're going to screen the person through our system yourself, you're going to put 45 in there. If you want NTN to do everything for you, you don't want to have to worry about it. You just want to let us know there's an application and have us run the reports and make phone calls to their employers and previous landlords, then you would put 65 in that field. I'm just going to put 65 in there. Underneath this, now you don't see it on mine, this is my office account, but right underneath this will be a this says, would you like to collect your application fees electronically? You won't see that statement. You'll see a statement that says, would you like to use NTN Collect? Yes or no. You're going to put a check mark in yes. And I'll show that to you in a minute on y'all's website. But my site's just a little bit faster because I don't have as many addresses. So you're going to put the application fee, 45 for a self-service. And I'm going to a little bit later get into what the differences are on those a little bit more. But 45, if you're going to just run it yourself and you want to collect pay stubs or you want to call their employer yourself, then it's 45. If you want us to do everything, it's going to be 65. You don't need to worry about selecting a lease because you guys use your own lease, the Texas lease. You don't use ours, so don't even worry about it. So this is the main contact information, but down here is the specific unit itself. If it's a single family home, we're just going to, let's just say green lot. We'll call it green lot. Put in how much the rent is, what the security deposit is. That would be huge. You can do what kind of home it is. In this case, we're just going to say it's a house. We'll say how many square feet, bedrooms, and baths. All right, so I'm going to put the descriptors of the unit in there, and you'll see that I'm saying it has vacancies. If I take that check mark out, you'll create the unit, but there won't be any vacancies for you to have people apply for. So it's important to leave that check mark in there. And then you're going to save that property. So this is creating the unit that you want people to apply for. So give it a second here. And now you can see here on our properties list, here's that one that I just created. If you click on it, you can see all that information that we put in there, and you can go back and make changes if you made any mistakes. The next step is to get your link to put in MLS to allow people to apply for that property. In order to do that, you want to come to the units column and go to the unit that you created. If it happened to be a duplex, you could add another unit here. Let's say there was unit A and unit B, right? We could go in and put unit B for that same address and complete the rest of the stuff and add that unit. But here's the one that we created just a second ago. If you look down below it, it says link options. Click here. Simply click on that, and it gives you these choices. This is HTML coding that you will simply copy and paste into MLS. When you do that, it will give you this exact looking apply now button. That's the one that I would use for you guys. I'm not sure. This coding is for this icon. This coding is for this icon. This coding is for this icon. I'm not sure MLS is going to support the larger graphics. I would simply just go with the plain blue apply now. Simply copy all of this coding and paste it into your MLS listing. And this is what people will see in it. When they click on that link, it will take them to an application. And I can show you that in just a minute as well. So that's the code that you're going to use. It's underneath. Remember, go back to properties. The address that you created, click on that unit, go to click here, and you can copy that coding. All right, let's go back one more. Let's say you put it in MLS, but somebody contacts you verbally and they want that link. You can also come in here above the properties list to email application link. Simply type the person's name in there. We'll say Jonathan Consumer in this case. Put their email address in there. And then from the drop down, select the one that they're applying for. The property that you want them to apply for. This is pre-written. You can leave it the way that it is. You can make changes. You could add descriptors. You could add requirements in there. And then you simply send that email. All right. And it tells you can send another one, or you can click here to exit. Is what that does is when somebody gets the email, let me grab my email here, and I'll show you one of those. It comes through looking just like this. Jonathan Consumer, thank you for your interest in the property. And it gives them that link that they can now click on that takes them to our webpage. This is what your applicants will see when they're applying. Welcome to NTN Secure Lease, and it tells them all about it, tells them the requirements, tells them the fee, different things that they're going to need to complete it, and then they can continue through that process. Now, I'm not going to fill this out while we're on the training, but this is what they're going to see, everything that they have to fill in, and they'll go through the entire process. And at the end of that process, it will give them a credit card page for them to pay the fee that goes directly to JB Goodwin and is handed by Kathy Whitcraft and Courtney Karstead over in y'all's finance office. They take care of all of that at the end of the month. All right, so there's those two different ways of sending out a link. And then let's go to the screening. So you've created your property, you've got your link, you've put it in MLS, or you've sent it out to somebody. And oh, you know what? One more real quick. You can also go into that link, and if you copy everything in between the quotation marks, it always starts with HTTPS and ends in 5 numbers. If you copy everything inside those quotation marks, it's a simple URL. You can put that into your own email or put it on your desktop for somebody to apply on. So just know this is all HTML code, but everything inside the quotes is your URL that you can copy and use separately. All right, so several different ways of putting the link out there. But when somebody applies, you're going to get an email telling you that somebody has applied for that property. When that happens, you're just going to come back into our webpage, click on Secure Lease, which brings you back to this home, and you're going to see Jonathan Consumer has applied for your property on such and such a date, that they're the applicant and they've completed it. And it's going to give you 2 links, the where you can actually open and view their application to see their information. In this case, you can see I didn't complete anything really. So in this case, you know, you wouldn't even want to screen them simply because they didn't complete the application properly. You can also see their consent form, and you can save these documents if you want to. If you need to print a hard copy for some reason, you can save these, but you can see that they've given authorization to check their background, and it gives kind of a digital ID for them, showing that they've consented to the entire process. If these aren't here, they have not completed the process, and you shouldn't proceed with anything on them until they do so. Once this is here, this is where you can break off and do your two different types of screening, your self-service or your full service. If you're going to do it yourself, is all you have to do is simply click on Screen Applicants button right here. And in this case, oh, they want me to confirm the rental property. Save and exit. This comes up. On yours, there's going to be check marks already here on these reports that are available to you. It's going to come up and they're going to be pre-check marked. And it's all you're going to need to do is click next. You don't want to change any check marks in that field. It'll show up and say, hey, they've got an AKA, check their information, make sure it's correct. Yes, I want to order these. And then you can order that report. It'll come back within about 60 seconds. But remember, the only thing this does not do is this does not confirm their employment. It will check to see if other landlords have complained about them or filed complaints about them, but it's not going to check their employment. Okay, so you'll order the report, it'll spin for a little bit, about 60 seconds, and you'll get those reports back. If you are doing a full service, you want NTN to do everything for you. You don't want to hassle with it. Do not click on Screen Applicants. Is what you're going to do is simply notify my office that I would just do this. Copy this field, highlight it, copy it, paste it in an email, and send it to me. And I'll give you all my contact information in just a minute. But you want to take that and paste it into an email and just put inside the header of the email that you want us to do a full service. And then you go about your business. We run the reports. You'll get the main reports back in about an hour or two after you've submitted it to me. And then we start making phone calls to employers, to landlords. And as soon as we have any information from either of those two places, we email that to you. So you'll get an initial email with all of your reports. And matter of fact, let's take a look at, let me get into y'all's account here real quick. Let me log out of this. But you'll get an email with the initial reports, and then you'll be able to get follow-ons. All right, so this is actually what you'll see. Welcome, JB Goodwin. Secure lease. You can see I filled in one here as well. You can see there's no consent here like I was talking before. Like here's one, but there's no consent form here. So, and it's in draft status. So Jonathan can't be screened yet because he hasn't consented to it. But let's show you guys, and I'll show you how long it takes for this page to load up. So if this happens to you, don't think there's a problem with the system. It's just there's a lot of addresses. So here's the list of current addresses with JB Goodwin. And that's why it takes that a little bit longer. I was going to go through and show you guys one of the reports, but I probably shouldn't do that. All right, so you'll simply email me, and this is my contact information. We'll put it on the screen, my email address. You'll simply copy and paste the information into that, email it to me, and I'll do everything for you. It can take up to 3 days, 3 business days for us to get the landlord and the employment information back to you, but we try to do it the same day. All right, we do it as fast as we can. We just get at the mercy of the people that we're calling. If they want to fax us the information or email it, it can take them a day or so to do so. All right. So this is loading your property, adding the unit, getting your link, using it, emailing it, putting in MLS, coming back and seeing where the person has applied, and then choosing how you want to screen your folks from there. That is really the entire process of doing secure lease itself. Is there any specific questions that anybody might have for me that you've ran into or that I might be able to answer at this time? Did that cover the bases for you? I mean, that was really the entire process. It's not difficult.
I have a question, Stacy.
Sure, Jason.
So let's assume I put with the full service, if I put a listing on the market early morning or evening, and then because the market's so hot, we get 2-3 tenants filling out applications right away.
Yes.
One question is, after applicant one has submitted an application, is there any notice to the second or third applicant that there's already apps in line?
There is not. In this case, if you wanted to screen first person and then make a decision, and second person to make a decision, is all you have to do is let Kathy Whitcraft or Courtney Carstead know in your accounting office, this person applied but was not screened. They'll refund that money to those other applicants. So it's not going to tell other applicants that people have applied. It's kind of everybody applies and you screen them in order, which is usually the best business practice to do. But no, it's not going to notify other people that somebody's already applied for that property.
Okay. Are you saying then that they can apply and not automatically be screened?
Correct. They will not be screened until you take action.
Oh.
They're going to apply and it will notify you that somebody has applied for that home. But then you're going to make the decision. Are you going to screen them yourself by clicking on that screen applicant button? Or are you going to have us screen them? So we don't do anything with them until you make that choice.
Okay, great. So I've always done these myself. And the benefit of that, perceived benefit, is if I get multiple apps, I can look at them. I can send the landlord a summary of each and we can choose which one to process first. If
Correct.
that first one gets accepted, then the other applicants, we haven't spent their money and they're happy about that. So it sounds like we can still get that benefit with the full service because it's not automatically screened.
Correct. Because it's not going to notify my office somebody has applied. It's going to notify you that somebody has applied. So we
Right.
don't even know until you notify us to do something. We're not
Awesome.
going to take. So yes, same benefits.
Okay, cool.
Same benefits.
Thank you.
Quick question
And
about
you're welcome.
quick question about the application refunds for the tenants who don't get their apps run. How fast is that refund? Is it instant?
It's a typical credit card refund. It's through a company called Paylease. They go by Zego now, but it's Paylease. So it's a 3 to 5 day, typical like you would from any bank. They may process it the same day, but it takes 3 to 5 days for that to hit the person's account back. And that's dependent on your accounting office, how fast they get into the system, and they post that as well.
Okay, so when they apply online, if we're not running their app, then we would just contact accounting and say, hey, can you refund these people their
That
app
is
fee?
correct. You would just let them know the name and the property they applied for. And at the end of the month, I do a reconciliation with your accounting office, and we match every transaction to find out, did it get screened or did it not get screened? So even if if somebody drops the ball on that end, we are still doing a reconciliation at the end between my office and your accounting office to make sure every transaction is accounted for.
Got it.
Stacy, I'm going to run down the chat room for you.
Sure.
Deborah asked, would you get a separate code for each unit of a multiple unit address?
Yes, that link, when you click on the link, I'm not logged in. When you click on that link, and I think I have one in there, so let's take a look at it real quick. Every link for the properties are unit specific. And I think I had a triplex in here, or a duplex as well. Come on. Come on. Oh, I'm still on y'all's. Okay, so let's see. Does anybody have a duplex in there? They don't have a duplex in there. All right. So yes, underneath each unit will be its own direct link. There we go. All right. So underneath units, you'll see here I've got 3 different units available. Each one has its own link. So when somebody applies, they're going directly to this particular vacancy. See, this one doesn't have a vacancy check mark. If I copied this link from in here and pasted that, and somebody clicks on apply now, it's not going to work because there is no available vacancy. So yes, each unit will have its own link available.
Thank you, Stacy. The next question is from Renee. It says, how does NTN identify themselves when doing the screening?
Okay, so again, when they click on that link, I think I had it on here, they will see the link, and when they click on it, it comes up to our web page. So it shows National Tenant Network. It shows that it's our program, and everything throughout this identifies us throughout the entire application process that they are on NTN. As well as if you went back and you looked at one of these, the consent that they agreed to at the end of the application process identifies us throughout the entire authorization.
Okay.
I think she was asking how they're contacting the employers, what they say when they call to the employer.
Oh, yes. We identify ourselves to the employers, to the previous landlords as National Tenant Network, a background screening agency. And a lot of times before they'll answer our questions, they make us email or fax them that consent form before. So we are identifying ourselves. And that's why sometimes it's better to have us do it because people know us, they know our name, they're used to getting phone calls from us. Whereas you call as an agent or an individual landlord, they may not be willing to share the same amount of information. We also have a long checklist, about 15 different questions that we will ask previous landlords. Was there non-sufficient funds? Did you have to file an eviction? Did they have unauthorized pets? Did they return the keys? So we ask a myriad of questions, but they definitely know who we are when we're calling.
Okay, thank you. Rich asked, and you may have answered this already, he stated that he thought it was automatic. They got screened. The applicants got screened. He's got 2 applications in the system.
3. Hey, Beth, can I ask him the question?
Sure, absolutely.
Well, here's the thing. I listed the property a month ago, and it was like we're just switched over to NTN. And I talked to your phone people, and they said, yeah, they showed me how to get the link and the listing. Everything is working great. And I asked them, and they said it's automatic. As soon as they put in their lease, we start working on them, or their application, we start working on them, all that. I've had 3 applications sitting there since Saturday, and nothing's happening on them. So I'm kind of like behind the 8 ball now.
Yeah, I apologize for that. I want to get their information from you. That was wrong information. It is not automatic because we don't know that they've applied until you let us know.
But isn't it hitting your website? I mean, why wouldn't you know? That's what
well, because you're making that listing, and when you create that listing, you're putting yourself as the contact for that particular property. When you do that, the system says, who am I supposed to notify now that somebody's applied for this? And it goes to your email, your name, and lets you know that that's done. So
well,
it's in our system.
I was never notified that they put in the app, so I had to keep checking. I had to keep checking your system like every half hour to see if the apps were put in. I never had a notice that the applications were put in.
Okay, so let's do this. Is what I'd like you to do is, if you would, in just a minute, so we're not recording it, send me an email with their names and let me get into the system and take a look at it. But if you put your email in there and then select yourself from that landlord property manager drop-down list, then you should be getting notified that it's there.
Okay, well, it was, yeah, okay.
But if you have things in the system right now, then I need to know, and we will get working on them immediately.
All right,
And,
thank
and
you.
everybody know as well, I am your personal contact. So anytime you have a question, a problem, I even give my cell phone out for weekends. If it's an emergency, it's a Saturday or Sunday, you're really moving. I check my texts over the weekend and my email. And Saturday and Sunday the office is closed, but I'm still available for you.
Thanks, Stacy.
Of course,
Appreciate it.
of course. Yeah, and anytime you experience an issue of any kind, I need to know, because a lot of times I'm not on your side, so I don't see it. So if something happens, let me know, and I'll get it fixed immediately. I promise you that.
Thank you, Stacy.
Yeah.
All right, so the next one is from Kelly, and she says, does the check do a hard or soft pull on the client's credit?
Right now, it's doing a hard pull. TransUnion has already transitioned to a soft. Experian and Equifax have said that they're changing theirs as well, but they have not taken place yet. We're looking sometime later in the year, all three bureaus will be soft. But right now, Experian is our primary one that we pull from, and it is still a hard pull. Of course, you guys know from reading credit reports, one is not gonna hurt somebody's credit. If they have multiple in 6 months, it's going to affect their credit. And we're also available for that. Know this: anytime you we're a full service office. So if you run a report and you're confused about something on the credit report, you want somebody to go line by line item with you, call me and I'll open that report and we'll go through it together.
Cool, thank you. The next question is from Claire. Is there an application fee for every property they apply for?
Yes. Anytime somebody gets screened, they're processed through the credit bureaus, and anytime their socials put into a screening, it inquires charges. So yes, that would be something that if somebody wanted to change, it would have to be done through JB Goodwin. You guys would have to get together and kind of make those changes. But right now, yes, anytime somebody applies for a property, the fee is charged.
Okay, the next one is from Quinn. It says, can you show your contact info again, please? So,
Of course.
and Stacy, are you okay if I put that on the on our training page?
Oh, feel free, please.
Okay. Will you send that to me after class?
You've got it.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'll reply back to your email from before, and all my contact information will be on there.
Sounds good. Next one is from Deborah. It says applicants are not charged until the end of their application, correct?
Correct. The very, very last step. The second to last step is a complete review of all of their information so they can make sure they've done everything right. And then they can edit any section. And then it says proceed to final statement or final step, where they'll fill out their credit card information, say, yes, I agree to this, and then they'll pay. So yes, and it also allows them, when they go in to apply, the very first step is to create a password. So if they cannot complete the process in one sitting, then it'll allow them to come back in and pick up where they left off. So they can even stop right before that payment screen and then go back in and do it later.
All right, thank you. Deborah, I don't understand, or this one may be from you. I don't understand the second part of your question. It says only email addresses we have to request full service is the one you gave earlier. Can you clarify if you're still on?
Oh, I think she's asking, is this the only email address that they can notify us through? Here, I'll send these out so you can link to it as well.
Okay.
But these are all addresses. Now, because I have been out of the office, so that, with my surgery, I've been out of the office. That might be part of it.
Okay. Thank you. All right, the next one is from Jackie. She says, with the full service option, how does NTN communicate with us if you are not successful in verifying the applicant's landlord employers? How much time should we tell the applicants we will need to verify their information?
Gotcha. 3 business days is what we ask you to wait for, but we try to get it done faster. We will send you an email that specifically states who we tried to call, how many times we've tried to call, different methods of how we've tried to contact them, and whether or not we were able to get information. So you'll actually get something that tells you yes or no, we got a hold of people, and here's what we were and were not able to confirm.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question related to that one, please?
Sure.
I've had situations where tenants they put an error on a phone number, or like during COVID, they had to give somebody else instead of the usual source for verifying employers. So is there some place where we can work with you in case there does need to be some correction or additional information on an application?
Yes, I've actually, a couple months ago, I put into some changes. Normally, NTN would not contact applicants directly. I didn't agree with that with that particular company standard. So we now, if we find a phone number that doesn't work, we will actually call the applicant on a full service and correct that information ourselves without having to worry the agent about it. Does that answer the question?
Is there a source then, in case we have some information that you are not aware of? Do we just send it to the same email where we
Exactly.
ask for service?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
That would help us out too.
All right, Stacy, one more. It comes from Paul. It says, is there a credit hold / freeze? And once that is lifted by the applicant, how do we rerun the credit check?
Ah, yes. Very good question. These days, a lot of people are putting freezes on their credit. So you will get notified from our office that there is a credit hold. Once the person has said that they've lifted that, and it has to be a time-specific lift. When you lift your freeze, it can be done by PIN or it can be done by time, 24 hours, 48 hours. We cannot use a PIN. Once they have lifted that freeze, our office has to be notified, and then we can process that application.
Okay, thank
Now,
you.
again, for JB Goodwin, we are contacting when we see that, my office is now contacting the applicant to notify them. Instead of having to worry the agent about it, make the agent make phone calls, we are actually contacting the applicant themselves, letting them know that the lift is there and having them call us back and tell us that it's been lifted. So that should be one more worry off your shoulders.
I don't see any more questions. Does anybody else have any questions?
I have another question. When we receive an email that someone has applied, is it within that email, the method of how we contact you to let you know to go ahead and screen it?
No, that's where you would want to make that choice. Like if you went back into our system, where were we at here? And okay, so somebody, let's say Jonathan Consumer applied for this address, and you came back into our system and you saw that they've applied. You would then make that decision. Am I going to screen this myself with that screen now button that was here? Or am I going to email this to NTN and have NTN do everything? So that's where you're going to make that decision. Yes, you're correct. Once you get that email saying somebody's applied, you would then notify our office if you want us to do the full service.
Well, we have to go in and log in. Okay.
Yeah, I guess you don't necessarily have to. If you know what they've applied for, you can just send us the email. But I would always recommend going in and looking at that page and making sure, just taking a second to look at the application itself. Because like I filled this one in and I put some basic information, but you see, I didn't report anything really. No income, no job, no contacts, no references. So there's really no reason to proceed with an application like this if somebody didn't complete this, didn't put the information in that you require. So it's good to log in and at least take a look at it and make sure that they've done things to y'all's satisfaction, and then notify us you're ready to proceed. So it's a good idea to do that, but you don't have to. You can just simply say, because we'll look at it, and when we go to run it, we're going to see, wait a minute, they didn't list any employers. They didn't list any previous landlords. And we're going to come back to you and say, hey, they they didn't complete the process, we have nobody to call.
Cool. Okay. Well, maybe a recommendation for IT, if they could put some kind of link in the notice email that we get that just says process, or so we don't have to go log in and look at it.
That is very true. A button that simply just says forward or something like that, and it's automatically contacts our office.
Yeah, go ahead and screen
That's
it.
a great idea.
And then when they
on that email, you can take that. You could take that email and you could forward it straight to us, because
Okay.
it will have the information. It'll have an application ID on it, and we can follow up with that application ID. So you could take that email and simply forward it to us.
Okay. And then last question, when they apply, is there an option to upload documents such as an offer letter for a new job?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. They will be able during that application process to attach documents to it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, a couple more questions. Deborah's asking, and clarify for me as well. I know you mentioned that we do an audit with the county. Is that with our JB Goodwin accounting department, or was that with the NTN accounting department?
Yeah.
It's actually between myself and the JB Goodwin accounting office, Kathy Whitcraft and Courtney Karstead.
Okay.
Yeah, I just need, generally what I'm looking for is just a general email in case there is more than one applicant and we need to get them a refund.
I will get with Edward and Kathy and get a contact point for that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay. The next one is from Paul. It says, can we charge a deposit or half a deposit during the application?
A deposit? No, our system simply works with background screening. It doesn't go into that second. Now, that may be something that the Paley system that JB Goodwin uses, that might be something through your accounting office that might be able to set up. But on our system, we're simply background screening. That's all that we do. So collecting fees like that would be outside of our realm.
Gotcha. And the last question I see is from Gay. It says, will you email us the credit and background before you verify the landlord and employment?
Yes, credit back. Well, we can send a portion of that to you by email, but it's actually against federal regulations to email credit reports. So we'll notify you that the report is ready, and you'll log into our website and view that report. We cannot email a credit report, but you'll get that notification again within an hour or two of letting us know that we need to run it. You'll get an email from us letting you know that it's ready for you to look at online.
I'm sorry to be the pest, but I have another question.
Of course.
So you've got the thing about where that allows people to say, yes, you can do the review or whatever. Is there anything in your system that talks about landlord criteria, or is that something that's outside of your system?
Landlord criteria is individual landlords. So there's no way in this type of a situation or system to be able to put those up there, because they're different for every landlord, every property. So unfortunately, no, that's not something. Now in our system, whenever if we go back on properties here, if you were to email the link, there's a document manager over here on the left side. You can put in to that document manager different forms, right? And then whenever you sent an email to the person, you could attach that document inside the email to go out. So you could put criteria that way, or you could copy, if you have a document that has that information, you could copy it and paste it into this block when you sent that email out. But if you put it if you put that code inside MLS, there's no way to attach that other document. Did that help?
Yeah, it did. Now, so
Okay.
when we copy that code into MLS, is it is it just like in the apply here section? I'm not getting a good image on that.
Yeah, is there somebody on that has done, because I can't get into MLS, but I've worked with you guys over the phone, and there was, I think there's a field that says how to apply in MLS, like how to apply, and they were pasting it directly into that field. I've not visually seen it, but I've talked to people on the phone while they were doing it.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And again, it'll just show up when you paste that code, it'll show up with those blue apply now letters.
Cool. And I did get clarification on refund requests. Those should be directed through your local office manager, and they will handle your correspondence with accounting. So if it's Jen in Northwest, Francis in Westlake and Lake Travis, Julie in San Antonio, those are the people that if you've got a refund request, direct it through them and they'll take care of you with accounting. Does anybody else have any questions for Stacy? Awesome.
I'm sorry, I do. I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay. Go.
If I end up getting somebody who turned in like a tar paper application, can I still go through this process of like uploading their information and asking me to screen it?
Yes, you can simply forward that application directly to our office.
Okay.
If you want to do that, these two email addresses that are on the screen, Lisa and then NTN Reports, you'd probably want to send that application directly to them and tell them that you want a full service. We can go that way. Just remember, if you do that, if you get a paper copy, you're having to collect those fees from them, the application fee yourself.
Yeah.
And the other way, and also on our website, when you go in, if you wanted to screen them yourselves, instead of going to Secure Lease, you would just simply click on Screen Applicants. And again, on your page, it's already going to be checkmarked. Yours will have, where's the other one? Multi-state. Yours will already have the reports checkmarked, so you don't have to do anything with those. But you can go straight into the system, click on Screen Applicants, click on Next, enter their data, and actually screen them yourselves. And it would come back in 60 seconds.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Hey, Stacy, I
Yes.
emailed those applications to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks
Thanks
you.
for your help. I appreciate it.
I'll take a look at it immediately and find out what happened.
Thanks, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're very welcome. I appreciate you letting me know too. It sounds like I've got some corrections to make with my staff. They should know
Yeah,
better.
no, they were very
Doesn't
nice
happen
and very
right away.
helpful. They were very helpful and very nice. So
Good. Well, I
Thanks.
appreciate that. Yeah, but it would help if it was right information.
right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stacy. Anybody else going once, going twice? All right, Stacy, thank you so very, very much. We appreciate
Thank
your time.
Hey, you're very welcome. And remember, contact me, okay? If I'm on the phone, leave a message. I don't put my cell phone up publicly, but if you ask me for it on an email, I'll give it to you. And like I said, I'm available on weekends, evenings.